Wonderful high-caliber weapon. A bit too much for sniping, though. The accuracy falls off after 1,000 yards. She worked the slide and smiled in satisfaction, loaded a magazine. The size of the weapon and the fact that she could handle it at all with just her horn reminded me of little Pip. It must be nice to be able to handle heavy weapons with just your horn. "You like it?" I asked with a small smile as I teased Boo with a carrot. "Like? No. But I respect it and admire its craftsmanship and capabilities," she said as she pointed it at the hillside at the west, looking through the scope. Then she paused with a frown. We are being watched. I frowned too, extended my fingers, and took out Taurus's rifle, and looked through its scope. There, at the top of the low ridge, almost a mile away, I could make out clusters of ponies watching us. Behind them, I could barely make out a banner of green and black. Harbingers. A dozen of them. At least, watching me with binoculars and scopes. Had they been waiting to see when we left? Or were they waiting for more members? "Want to go smash them?" Psycho Shy asked with an eager grin. I took one look at P21 in Scotch on the Alicorn's back. No. If they're just watching us, they'll scatter. And if we head towards Chapel, then we're looking at an ambush. Or worse, another attack on Chapel itself. I couldn't do that to the Crusaders. P21, Scotch Tape, Glory, and Lacuna all needed to go to Chapel. I didn't. Not in the way that they did. "We'll split up," I said softly. "I'm going to have to file that under really bad idea, Blackjack," Rampage snorted. "Look, they're after me, right?" I asked as I whirled on them. Having a threat helped me focus and pull my head together. If they see me leave with you, then they're going to attack us sooner or later. But if they see me trot off east and you go south, who are they going to follow? "You want them to chase you?" Glory gaped, and I felt myself grinning. "Sure. I'm the one with the robo-legs, remember? I'll lead them away from you till you're all recovered. They'll get tired before long," I said as the plan came together. "You should take Flutternut and me with you," Rampage said as she looked at me. "I don't want the Harbingers getting the idea of taking hostages. I need you with them. I know they'll be safe with you, Rampage." And I was faster than the steel-clad mare. "Then take Psycho Shy at least," she pressed. The yellow Pegasus grinned wickedly at the suggestion. I gave Rampage a slightly sardonic look, and she sighed. "Okay, maybe not. I need to be sure that you're all safe. This way they'll be chasing me, and then, later, we'll meet up," I said as my thoughts oriented from the dread of sitting around on the plan of action. "But how will we know how to find you?" Glory asked. "We have her Pip-Buck tag," Scotch Tape replied, and then she leaned back in P21's embrace. Glory looked at the Pip-Buck she'd purloined from Psycho Shy. "We can find Blackjack anywhere in the city." Glory still frowned. "But how will we know if you're all right?" "Duh, we'll listen for her," Scotch Tape said with a small smile. "Remember on the Celestia, Blackjack? Your Pip-Buck is a broadcaster. All you have to do is send a signal and we'll know if you're okay, or if you need the cavalry to come." Glory chewed her lip, and I went to her and held her in my hooves. "Are you sure about this? All alone, with no friends?" she asked as she stroked my restored cheek. I smiled and kissed the end of her muzzle softly. "I won't be missing any friends, Glory. I'll have you with me, no matter where you are." She kissed and I kissed back. Now that I had a plan, all the skittering doubts were scrumped away into the corners of my mind. "Get some sleep." "Please, try," she said quietly as she bumped her forehead against mine. "I will," I said with a small smile, but I doubted it was going to do, or I was going to get much of a chance in the next couple of days. Suddenly, I became aware of a hissing above me and glanced at Psycho Shy hovering there. "Don't move," she said around the mouth grip of a spray paint can. I groaned and closed my eyes. Did I really want to know? Finally, she finished and tossed the can away. So, what did she do? I could always replace the armor that I had stashed. She wrote security, Lacuna said softly. Only she left out the I. And she drew a bullseye beneath that, said P-21 dryly. I sighed but smiled. Well, I wanted them to follow me. Wait a moment, Lacuna said as she lifted the tossed can and sprayed a few more times. There. Better. I blinked and looked back at the little white, rearing filly she deftly painted on my armor's rump. Your good luck symbol, as I recall. Yeah, I guess it is, I said with a smile, wondering what Scootle would think of the stable pony now. I turned to her and gave her a hug. Sorry for what I did with your friends. I'm sorry too, he replied, stroking the wingtip along my cheek. For what? I asked. For the goddess being a tool? For not being able to help the craziest pony in Equestria? But she just smiled sadly and shook her head. It took some time to convince Boo to go along. She just looked as uncomfortable with my plan as Glory. Finally, I'd had to tie the bridle and give her lead to the Pegasus. The pale mare looked hurt and confused, no matter how I stroked her milky mane or ears. Please, take care of yourself. Please, Blackjack. I don't like the idea of you being alone. I won't be. I'll know you're all safe, and we'll be together soon. I promise. The heat and the damp pressed down, and the fat, swollen clouds overhead rumbled low and deep, as if some great stratospheric beast's stomach growled in anticipation of the impending chase. We shared one final kiss, and then my friends started off to the south. I watched them go with a bit of trepidation. There was no guarantee they'd reach Chapel safely, but right now they were as safe as I could make them. When they were out of sight along the Sunset Highway, I looked back at the hill and saw every set of eyes locked onto me. In spite of everything, I couldn't deny an unmistakable thrill coursing through me. Okay, catch me if you can, you miserable herd of mules, I said as I opened the panel in my leg, showing the black screen with a delta within as I waved it to them. Instantly, the 6 set off down the hill towards me. One fired a red flare into the air as they ran. The heavens let loose a flash of lightning, splitting the clouds, and the rain began to pour. I snapped the panel shut and tore down the road east as fast as my legs could carry me, shouting, "Ante up!" Footnote: maximum level reached.